Oh boy, here we go. I don't have much storage on my phone, so I'm just gonna start talking. Hello. Welcome to vloggum number, what is this, 4? Yay! I just like talking about things that I like to pick up and experience in the world, and so I have some exciting things to share. Let me take out like my identifying information here. I got a library card! I shouldn't be this excited about getting a library card, but I am, and I'm gonna make you guys excited about library cards too. This isn't all the books I got. Is this all the books I got? Not all the books I got. Hang on, let me go grab the other books I got, because I got a couple more books in the book. Here we go. Oh, I have a problem. All right, so first let me start off by a couple, hello, how are you? The world is going to shit. Get a library card. I got a library card a couple days ago because my partner and I have been listening to Sarah Shower's new podcast called Shower Thoughts, and it's really fucking amazing. And they just keep talking about like books and books and books and all these books here and there, and I'm sitting here thinking like, well, hang on, maybe these books things have something going for them. Maybe I should start caring. And I've not had I've not read like a book. I read like a PDF transcript of the Tibetan Book of the Dead about 1.5 years ago. And then around that time, I also listened to the audiobook of Jenna McCurdy. Oh my God, Jenna McCurdy? Who wrote I'm Glad My Mom Died. Highly recommend that book. Specifically, if you've had like a narcissistic abusive parent, I highly recommend that book. Especially if you've never had a day of wondering if your parents were genuine and real and loving to you, I recommend you read that book. If you are like, oh, I was kind of abused, but I don't know, like, I still recommend you just read that fucking book. The audiobook was free on Spotify with premium, so that's what I did. Just taking a quick landscape. That leaf is dead, but the whole plant is not. That's fine. Okay, back to what I was talking about. So I went to the library the other day because I wanted to pick up a couple of books related to just like whatever. We wanted to see if the ones that were recommended on the podcast were available. We were only able to find one, unfortunately, but I did pick up a few things. Jake has the one book that was recommended specifically. It was called The Art of Logic. So he's got that one. I've got another one that they recommended on their podcast episode they dropped yesterday on hold. Did you know you can just be like, hey, yo, library, y'all got this one book? And they're like, nah, but we can get it for you from another location. So, back to the other day. I decided, since we couldn't find the specific books I was looking for, I would just go for a few that caught my brain. This one I've already finished. It's called There Is No Right Way to Meditate by Yumi Sakugawa. And that was really great and gave me a few really great ideas for like practicing meditating. And the one thing it does mention if it actually gives you resources for books they like and are very helpful to them at the end. And also there's a lot of pretty colorful, that's why I got this book. I wanted to get something that was like easier to come back to. I'm dyslexic, I have a really hard time reading. But then when I get really into it, I just fly through and I only pick up like chunks of it. And that's what happens when I get too excited. So that's great. And then I haven't even opened this one yet, but I think it has it has not really pictures, but it does have little, how would you say, flavor text inserts that and the spacing is a lot bigger. This sounds dumb. I look for shit like this because as a dyslexic person, walls of text, I can't. And calclexia too, or whatever the fuck the number dyslexia is. I have that like a motherfucker. The land of burnout is not a place I ever want to go back to. Tell me about it, I'm living in it. So, this one is called Burnout to Breakthrough by Eileen McDarg, and it has a little flower on the front. So I'm hoping that this might be a good sort of, you know. This one just looked interesting. I think it also has a similar, oh my God, it's even more perfect. This one's called My Friend Fear, Finding Magic in the Unknown by Mira Lee Patel. So here we have It's got pretty aesthetics. It's not a lot of text at once, which, mock me if you will, but that just makes you a shitty person because I'm reading, okay? I'm trying. It's the Bible. It's the thought that counts. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. What did they do to you? But yeah, it's just like visuals. It's not just words. It's relating to shapes. I like shapes. I think in shapes, so this is helpful. Hang on, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet today, and my blood sugar likes to do this thing where it tanks. Like, what was that thing called? Ocean Gate? Whatever that fucking shit was. Oops, you got plant matter on you. I suppose this is the most appropriate book to get bits of plant on. This one I am actively reading right now, and I have to say, okay, hang on. It's called Happy Plants, Happy You, and it's got a pretty girl on the front, and she's got pretty plants, and I have a crush on her, and she's so pretty, and look at the plants, and she's got the plants, and she's got the plants, and I love plants. And so I rented this book, or not rented, I checked out this book, and here we are, and this is so great. I love this book because it's like, it'll break up big bits of text with, here, let me see if I can find an example. There was like a page where I was like really intimidated because this is a wide book. So like something like this, you're like, oh boy, and then you get to something like this and you're like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. And then you are given a recess with pictures of pretty plants. And look at these plants. And look at these plants. And I'm already learning so much. I learned today that apparently that weird like fruiting thing that the Monstera does, apparently that's a fruit and you can eat it, but only at a certain ripeness because it's toxic otherwise, and I'm half tempted to go out there and start chewing. There are a bunch of these guys out there that have, it's like a dark green now though, so I don't know like when it's good. I also learned that Spanish moss, okay, isn't even Spanish moss. Spanish moss, it's an air plant. It's not moss, which I knew it wasn't like moss, but like I didn't realize it was an air plant. And it's not from Spain, it's from Central America, Mexico, and southern regions of the United States. I know that because I want to tell you something. So my partner and I, we both grew up in Florida. Different regions of Florida. I grew up in Central Florida, he grew up in South Florida. So he had no idea why you weren't supposed to touch Spanish moss. So I'm joking about Spanish moss, talking about it one day. So I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the Spanish, when they came over to St. Augustine and started stuffing their beds with moss, this hanging moss, they were stupid because they didn't have clear nail polish. And Jake's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know, because when the red bugs get under your skin. And he said, I'm sorry. What? And I'm like, yeah, from the moss, the little red bugs. I don't like to call them their real name because it's not a good vibe. I don't like it. So I just call them little red bugs, the little red burrowing bugs that live in Spanish moss. Yeah, duh. And he's like, they do what? I'm like, yeah, they burrow under your skin. Come on. Don't you live in Florida? And he's like, I never knew that. He's like, I just was told from a young age, don't ever touch the moss. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It looks fun. Don't touch it. And I'm like, we learned, bitch. When you grow up in the middle of the woods, trekking around, climbing trees, sticking your toes in dirt and shit, you fucking learn why not to touch the Spanish moss. Yeah, so the remedy is if you get Spanish moss bugs, you cover the site with clear nail polish and it suffocates them, and then they're not burrowing into your skin anymore, they're just there. And he was horrified, and I'm like, what? Don't you fucking you live in Florida? Didn't you grow up here? So, some people had different upbringings, I guess, which I'm also finding out because the library has access to audiobooks. So I've been like checking out self-help books in audiobook form because I feel like that's a little bit easier. And I don't know what it's called, but I think it's like adult survivors of narcissistic parents. And it's written by somebody who has a PhD. And there have been moments where I've audibly fucking screamed. There was a quote in there, something about like how children of narcissistic parents have to rationalize insanity. So I'm okay. I'm this close to like starting a podcast talking about the shit that happened to me, but also I don't want that to be my identity because I'm tired of traumatic things having to be why I get to exist and talk. So don't want that. Anyways, so that was a couple of days ago. Finished this one last night, the meditation book, just in time for, there's an eclipse tonight, so I plan on taking a nap and then waking up at 2:30 in the morning to do a little extra special witchcraft during that time, because it's also the haze moon. Technically it's the worm moon, but I rename all the moons based off of things that are happening in my life. This full moon specifically, that we're about to experience, in 2021 was the moon that gave me my name. And I love it. So it's the haze moon. Not that I've told you guys my name or anything, because you don't know it. So I went back, okay, wait, so we're gonna go in order. So I decided I'm gonna go visit the weed store because there was a sale that was gonna be really good, and then they kept pulling it back on how pitiful it was. God, seeing all the changes that the new company that bought out my old dispensary are making, it's bad. And not just like price-wise, like morally. So anyways, my prescription's about to expire. Hi, Spider. Where are you going? Why don't you try a plant? Get off of there. Goober. So I went, because this is probably gonna be like my last visit to my dispensary for a while, forever. It really sucks. My prescription's expiring. I don't have the income for it, but partner gave me a little cash to pick up some medicine. I'm trying to weed away from flour, but as of right now, that is the most effective thing. I did get a tincture because that's been really helpful. I got a sativa, hoping that maybe this will zhuzh me up, but I got a few flour jars and a vape. I forgot I got, Olivia stocked me up with syringes for my tincture. That's so sweet. Now I have some extra syringes. So I got my tincture. It's just a plain old sativa, just to kind of, something to, you know, keep me going when, who the fuck is clicking? For the weirdest sounding creature. It's not a creature. It's the hose. I'm filling up the water in the pool because I was asked to. And I'm a good water type human. I can't do it with that, but hang on, we're gonna have to, I'll be right back. I cannot do it with the sound of the fucking thing farting over here. Hey, you don't gotta be like that, buddy. In fact, I'm just gonna turn you off. That is the fastest solution. I will fill up the pool later. Because I was asked to. I love dripping my wet feet over my macaroni and cheese. So I've got some tinctures. I went in to say, hey, pick up a couple things on sale. Oh, I didn't get an extra sticker for this. I guess I'll have to peel it off. I got an orange frosted cookies vape, which I've never had that strain, so I'm really excited. I got the tincture, sativa, just a little bit of energy for when I'm just not, you know what I mean. And then I got a few jars of weed. I got 2 jars of Slurdy. It was a tier 2, which means the THC was lower. I don't want to I want to see the, I guess it does show terps, okay. But the terpenes on this is 3.62. Insane. Don't look at that, that has my info on it. And so, I also got Irene mixed with French toast. That is what we used to use to make champagne breakfast, which was a Stanley Brothers strain, which Stanley Brothers is the company that invented Charlotte's Web, which was that really heavy CBD concentration stuff that was helping that one kid, that like first medical marijuana patient in the United States. who had, I think it was, I don't know if it was epilepsy seizures, but they were having horrific medical conditions, seizures and stuff. The CBD concentration was the only thing that made their life livable. And then they died during the pandemic. Anyways, so I got the Slurdy, which is an indica leaning as fuck hybrid, and then the other two hybrids I got Champagne Breakfast, which this is, I guess, the off-brand Champagne Breakfast. I'm just gonna call it Root Beer Brunch. So that's funny. And then Lemon Tree, because the terpenes on this one were 3.39. The terpenes on this one are only 2.4, but I just had to try like the Farewell Champagne Breakfast strain, whatever. I'm so mad. Something my partner said after I left the dispensary job and I started hearing updates about how things are going there and how it's being completely stripped and devoid of soul and personality and like functionality too. It's really embarrassing, honestly, for them. I mean the company specifically. And what was I thinking? Oh yeah, so my partner was like, man, you were really the canary in the coal mine in that situation. And I fucking love that phrase. I hate that it's a thing. I hate that canaries were used in coal mines, but fucking, I was really sad about that fact, like when Jake and I were early dating and he was like, but it's funny that you should mention that because actually coal miners had little resuscitation boxes that they'd stick the canaries in if they passed out and they'd try to save their life. And that was how I knew that Fun Fact Man was my forever partner, and now here we are. So I went to the library after I picked up my weed, and I was like, I have put a couple things on hold, so I went to go pick up those. Not all of my things on hold have come in, but oh my god, I'm gonna brag about that in a minute. So I went over to, there's a section that's like, oh, would you like to just a donation for some of these books that we don't really want to put on the shelf, but if you want to drop a few bucks, you can have some. And so I did, and I want to read this one, and then I might give this to Jake's nephews, because it's about, hang on, it's about illegal shark poaching in Florida. But it's a kid's book. And it's about kids stopping poachers and saving the environment in Florida. I am going to get these fucking kids hooked on nature. They like me enough. If I say like, oh, it'd be a real shame if you went to bed right now, they do. So I can reverse psychology their bitches into thinking about nature, right? I didn't mean to call people bitches or children. The second book, okay, so that's not the first book I saw. There were a few books I saw and before I got to that one. This one is, so that one's just called, hang on, Fins. This one's called Fins by Randy Wayne White. So that's exciting. Staying on the Florida themed, Florida Landscape Plants by John Watkins and Thomas Sheehan. And okay, so it's got like, ooh, it's got little pictures of plants, little drawings of plants. And I was flipping through it and something super magical I found. Somebody was using this as a bookmark and I thought that was really special. So I now I have a book about plants, and also I have like little 2D illustrations of how people would have drawn plants in 2D. So I can like learn how to draw plants by studying this. The other book I got for the sake of learning how to draw things, this is huge. It's called A Photographic Odyssey Around the World with Alexander Dreyfus. And this I mostly got as an art reference because it had so many different like images and references and like architecture, just photos from around the world and stuff. I'm like, look at all this stuff. There's so many different things you can look at. So this is like mostly an art reference book. That's mostly why I got this. Because I was just blown away. I'm like, look at the fucking a photograph book. What the fuck? That needs to exist in my space. So I got it. A couple things I put on hold. 3 movies and 1 book. Book was a recommendation by Sarah Schauer. I think it was, Proust was a neuroscientist. I don't know who the fuck that's by. Yeah, no, I don't know who the fuck that's by. Whatever. But so I need to get Dreamer's Connection on YouTube has been recommending like a Muppets watch through, like what movies to watch in what order. So we have watched the original Muppet movie because that was streaming on Disney Plus. But you know what Disney Plus doesn't have? Bonus features. You know what do have bonus features? DVDs. Why are we streaming? Fuck you, Netflix. Everybody should just go get a fucking library card. You can place a hold for a movie. You're allowed to rent it out for like 3 weeks. You can have up to 50 items at a time from the library, which I'm starting to get up there. I think I have like 9. Muppets in Space is not available on streaming platforms. Muppets Take Manhattan is not available on streaming platforms. I'm not gonna fucking rent it from Amazon for $5 to have it for a day and a half and not have bonus features. Are you fucking kidding me? I have Muppets in Space on DVD now to watch. I have to return it. But I have the special features. Okay, fuck you. Fuck the internet. Going back to DVDs. Go fucking buy a DVD player at a garage sale and start your collection up again. This is crazy, right? Special features. Original theatrical trailer. Bonus previews. Talent files. Production notes. Music video. Live video commentary with Kermit Gonzo Rizzo and the director. Fuck you, get a library card, y'all. This is crazy. Extra content on here, it just says, Pepe profiles President Kermit of Frog's life. Pepe the Prawn turns the spotlight onto one of the world's most famous frogs. Oh my god. This movie made me sob. I never saw this movie as a kid, the original Muppet movie. I don't know why. My mother, we're gonna go back to that bitch real quick, gate-kept the Muppets, was so obsessed with Kermit, gate-kept that shit from us. We weren't allowed to fucking enjoy it. And now that I'm 31 and discovering it for the first time, there's still a lot of people are like, oh, it sucks you didn't have the Muppets as a kid. Thank God I didn't have the Muppets as a kid. Because then I would have had to trauma recover that shit. What's nice is now, I don't have to worry about that. I can just form new connections and new emotions and not have to reforge feeling about this thing in a way that doesn't feel like I'm being stopped from enjoying it by the person who tried to murder me. So, said too much, let's go. I would like to smoke that weed I got. So I've grabbed my mac and cheese, I've grabbed this. I have to go get these books. I cannot forget these books over here or else they will become soggy and I will owe the library money. I have not cleaned my bong, so sorry. I do want to do a little smoky poo. We're getting towards the later end of how long I'd like for these little vloggums to be. Do these matter? Does anybody watch this? Are you watching this? Is anybody watching this? Does anybody care? Yeah, so I'm getting a little existential. I am going to have to start looking for work again, which sucks because most of the jobs readily available in my area that I am, well, insanely qualified for, will not hire me because I'm insanely qualified for them, for one, but for two, are usually corporate schmuck jobs. Or, like, customer service, lay down and just be abused and shut the fuck up, you're not allowed to complain. Or retail. Or food service. So, yeah, I don't want to do that on account of... I was at the store today, I was at the weed store, and the old manager, that's the reason I fucking left, was there, and he was like, oh, hi, and I was like, hello. So yeah, I really don't, like, want to go back into the corporate workforce again, but on account of art's not really taking off, I get that. But I don't know, I thought that, like, maybe some of the edits would just be getting more traction, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. I'm also becoming very self-conscious of my vocal stems as I'm editing, which I've always been aware as an editor, but I didn't realize how much I repeat myself. Trauma. That's a trauma thing. God, I'm hashing so many things out. That's why I decided to start reading self-help books, is because I'm really making, like, connections and processing and understanding things better. So I want to move past the trauma that obliterated me. So that's why I'm getting self-help books, so that I can compartmentalize these things and, I don't know, move forward. So what I'm gonna smoke first is slur tea. I've got a 50-50 shot of grabbing one. Perfect. All right. Ooh, 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 ooh. Sorry. I don't know why y'all think I'm the funniest shit on the planet Earth. I think I'm the funniest shit on the planet Earth. I think that's my problem. When you're the child of a narcissistic parent, you start to think you're really hot shit when you get away from that situation. Not to say I am also becoming narcissistic, but I think every artist, every creative in general has to have some sort of self-sustaining level of fluffing them own psyches up. I don't know. I think I'm fucking hilarious. Don't seem to think the rest of the world seems to think I'm as fucking hilarious as I am, but I'm pretty fucking funny. I make funny stuff. The internet's not as funny as I am, and it's a real shit. I'll make like a witty comment on something on Instagram, and people be like, I'm stupid, and I'm gonna like wheel around the thing that you said and be like, what? Why would you say that? It's comedy. Shit. I want to be cracking jokes with Reika from Dropout. I want to edit for her movie. That's what I'm putting into the world right now. Oh my god. It's about to be the fucking Haze Moon, Blood Moon eclipse. Hi, I want to edit for Reika's movie. Reika, can I edit for you? I would do it for free. Please let me edit for you, Reika. Who else would I want to work with? I want to smoke weed with Brian David Gilbert. He probably don't smoke weed, but I want to smoke weed with Brian David Gilbert. I want to fucking create with Brian David Gilbert. I have a page in my sketchbook, which if you haven't seen, I just did a spread. I just did a full spread where I drew dragons for like 5 hours. I drew 81 dragons and then it colored them in. And that's a time-lapse video to Polygoned Wonderland, but only a few of the songs specifically. So if you like King Gizzard and Polygon Wonderland, or want to hear some really cool, like, really technical, crazy metered, well-written music, go watch my video, please. Also, if you want to see dragons that I drew. What I'm saying is, like, everyone's too interested in, like, doom scrolling, and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to interrupt your regularly scheduled doom scrolling with whatever the fuck I am. So we've got, remember when I introduced this grinder here? I just like showing off cool things that I'm acquiring in my life. That's why I make these vlogs, because I want to show off the cool I haven't shown off this. Okay, so hang on. Hi, it's a plant. It's lavender. You're probably not supposed to do that, but my partner's mother got me this plant because she's like, oh, I know that you like plants now, so I thought you might like this. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I don't want to repot it because it's nice to be able to see on the inside, and I kind of wish like all of my babies, my plant babies, were in pots right now that are like clear. I have been hoarding and saving a bunch of, God, this is gonna be a long one. I'm sorry, y'all. Nobody's gonna watch it anyways. If you're watching, I don't know why I'm like this. I'm so sorry. But if you're watching, burp at me. Burp at me in the comments. So I know you're here. So I know you made it. But yeah, this lavender plant, I love it. It's so pretty smelling. You're supposed to take the leaves and crunch them up for the best smell, but I don't want to do that. And as a pagan, having plants that, I've got a rosemary I'm propagating right now, that's going to be helpful. Just having very pagan related plants, things that you can use in your practice and like in making jars and stuff, or gifting, you know, little crystal jars with intention and herbs and stuff inside to people that you love. Lavender would be an amazing herb to stick in a little bottle that has a bunch of pieces of rose quartz and give that to somebody. I like to make little spell jars as little tokens of love, and I haven't done it lately because I don't have any of my witch supplies to do that, because they are all in a storage unit 150 miles away from here, so... Fuck. It's dirty. I didn't clean anything. I didn't prepare anything. My bong is dirty. The bowl is dirty. We're just gonna have a hit of this weed, and then I'm gonna move on with my life. I have things I'd like to accomplish. I am working on the current video I need to get back to working on is introducing all of our stuffed animals. So that's going to be a longer video, which I'm hoping if you like the kind of throw it on in the background, hang out, vibe out, zone out, just enjoy company I think this is gonna be a good video for you. And if not, please watch it anyways. I'm really fond of all of the cool shit that I have planned out to do in the next, like, forever. So if you can just, like, watch it and make me feel validated for not wanting to go back to corporate America. I've worked my entire life. Since almost the moment I was legally allowed to work, I've been working. And I've never had a break. And I would like a fucking break to focus on myself and learn more about myself and focus on my art. But unfortunately, capitalism. It's my little Philo and Grunge. Hi, fruit bats. My little Philo and Grunge on my bong. I love my bong. It's mostly clear. Oh, hang on. Don't look at this. God, I love the spit. Did you see the spin on that one? You probably didn't. It literally, like, corkscrewed. I love spitting. Although I don't recommend it. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend smoking weed unless you got, like, conditions you're trying to solve. Or just trying to get a fucking escape from the world because it's very stressful and it's very helpful. But don't spit after you smoke weed because then you'll get into the habit of doing it, like me. I don't want to tell you, because then you will become self-conscious and then you will think about it and you'll be like, oh, that's why. And now I can't unthink about it. My hair is just amazing today. Hang on. Damn! Why ain't y'all obsessed with my hair? Look at that. I want to draw that. Look at the little like shape. I'm feeling very, I love my mullet. I gotta say, this is the best. Oh yeah, and those books. The ones that I got, I'm sorry, going back to the library. The ones that I got that I showed you that didn't have, like, the labels on them because they belong to the library, they belong to me now. Like, they're like, oh yeah, if you want, you can donate, and then we'd appreciate it. And so I dropped what fucking little cash I had left from picking up my meds to get 3 fucking books, and one I'm gonna gift to nephews. Am I a good uncle? I think I'm a good uncle. Okay, well, I've smoked my weed, and I've talked about my books, and now I need to eat my mac and cheese, and maybe listen to more of that one audiobook that's blowing my mind, because I am traumatized. Bye!